Hello there. The challenges facing UK manufacturing in the wake of the last few years' disruptive events, pandemic, Brexit, Ukraine, attacks on shipping in the Red Sea, are well known. The question is how best to deal with them, how to strengthen the UK manufacturing base and protect supply chains from external shocks. Reshoring activities, finding companies to work with much closer to home, would appear to be very much part of the solution. Now, joining me to discuss this are Nishant Raj, who's CEO of Valuechain, the supply chain software company, and Josh Dugdale, head of Additive Manufacturing UK, part of the MTA network cluster. Now, Nishant, perhaps I could start with you. Valuechain have been addressing this issue already with the establishment of the network portal, a kind of network of networks. Tell us how it works and why you developed it.
Thanks, Nick. So, network portal itself is an idea that came from collaboration and seeing the lack of collaboration within advanced manufacturing and high value manufacturing industry. There's so much niche elements happening. And as we all know, innovation cannot happen without collaboration. There's no one platform today, especially in the UK, that brings these different communities together. Traditionally, there have been trade bodies and clusters who've been doing this offline. And one of our vision was how do we enable this to scale and really make an impact? So we got together and pulled our idea together with some of the leading trade bodies and won an Innovation UK project so that we can actually build the core platform. From that, the platform has scaled and only gone live less than 12 months ago to over 60 clusters and 7,000 businesses now using the platform. The key aspect towards this for us is how do we digitize the trade bodies and clusters who are creating an impact for the SMEs and the communities that they work with. And for the SMEs itself, how do we enable more data and AI-enabled innovation to leverage things that they don't know? Specifically, if we think about the pandemic, companies who had never gone into healthcare, were suddenly manufacturing ventilators, hand sanitizers, masks, not just because they thought they could, because they had the capability and they could pivot. Things like that, in a shared community, can actually grow and innovations will come across, especially in the areas of space, hydrogen, battery, and more. So this is our attempt to be able to bring this community together, powered through digital technologies. And we are leveraging on working very closely with industrial trade bodies and industrial communities to make that impact going forward.
So it sounds like a social media site, but I believe it's more than that. You actually offer some quite specific tools to enable companies to actually tender and do business with each other with as little friction as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And, our core focus, when we looked at what's already in the market, you look at LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is a very one-to-one, and person-based platform. We built the platform as being business-centric. So it's B2B specifically. Individual companies cannot join a platform to make sure that the quality of data and the conversations are not spammed. So individual companies will only join in if the trade body or the community they're part of are on the platform and they get invited. Through that, we are enabling the different trade bodies and communities to connect to other communities on the platform. And we are the only ones who are able to do that today. And creating that cluster to cluster impact means that, West of England Aerospace is connected to AMUK, is connected into Rail Forum, is connected into space. And these different trade bodies are then opening cross collaboration opportunities for their members across different areas. And the tools that we are enabling on the platform include things like, what relevant tender opportunities are there that they are seeing? What relevant innovation opportunities are there? Can they build a consortium together? Can they showcase the innovation projects that they're doing together? Can they be business-to-business matchmaking? So find relevant partners together. But all of them going through the banner of the community that they're part of and getting that support first and carrying on the conversation that they already do part of their smaller community online, and then be able to engage and connect to businesses, connect to trade bodies, networks. I mean, you and I, know that there are 1,800 trade bodies in UK, but if we were to be asked which ones should we join or where we should, nobody really knows. And that's, something that we want to bring more forefront, because that knowledge and awareness is what starts to create the opportunities for most businesses. And they might be in a dying sector today thinking, oh, we can't do anything, but their core capabilities can be utilized in so many places, and they don't even know. And these are things that we want to really enable to the power of technology.
And I should point out that although this is very much, as you've suggested, a UK initiative, there are trade bodies from Canada and perhaps further afield already members. Is that correct?
Yes. So our platform has grown beyond UK already, and we've been working with Engine, and as part of that, Canada Makes as our first Canada cluster, and we also have Fashion Takes Action, which is a textile-based cluster out of Canada. We have a few German clusters that are working with us on some European projects as well. So the concept is scaling globally. And what we've seen is those clusters starting to connect to our UK clusters and starting to do cross collaboration. I'm sure, Josh can mention some of those details that he's been part of already. But that's what we see, the cross border innovation and collaboration, and bringing the manufacturing introductions into UK, which is what, we all of us feel very passionate about.
Okay, well, Josh, let's turn to you. AMUK is a member, and you've created AMUK to provide a strong network for companies working in the additive manufacturing sector. You clearly agree with Nishant that the future is built on collaboration, not competition.
Absolutely. I think one of the things AMUK was originally set up for was to help to bring the sector together, all together under sort of one banner. And the idea was to help address big thematic challenges which impacts the whole industry. And I think the beauty of the Valuechain platform is you can get all of our members on there. They are able to share on that platform. They can look for projects. They can look for work. It's a place which they can essentially come together and engage each other in a non-competitive environment.
So your association, AMUK, is very definitely gaining from its membership of the portal. Most importantly, your member companies are gaining.
Yes, they are definitely gaining. There's a lot of opportunities that are provided to them via the platform that they might otherwise not be able to engage with or be aware of.
I mentioned in the introduction, the need in the wake of these tremendous external shocks that the manufacturing sector have been undergoing in the last few years, the need to reshore or create much closer, shorter supply chains. Was that something that you had already figured as being a priority, Josh, before you ran across the portal, that this actually working closer to home, exploiting the capabilities, deep capabilities we have in this country, but perhaps don't always know about?
Yes, actually, and actually coming from my MTA side, this is actually an issue that we've been long aware of. We often get companies come to us and ask, "Who does this in the UK?" And it's that they've just they've been looking for a supplier of a certain piece or a certain technology or certain capability, and they just cannot find it. And it's not because it's not in the UK; it's just that they have no way of understanding who does what often in the UK. There is so much capability, manufacturing capability in the UK, which sort of goes on well beneath the surface. And through the Valuechain portal, it's a fantastic opportunity to sort of raise its profile, raise the visibility, and help those people that are working within that supply chain to collaborate and to find closer to home suppliers, different suppliers, and different businesses who can provide the technology or the parts or the capabilities that they need. So this is something that we've been long aware of.
Nishant, perhaps to conclude, I suspect that what Josh has just said really strikes a chord with anybody listening, that there's so much going on in the UK, and perhaps before all these shocks started to knock us a little bit sideways, we were a little bit complacent. People were very happy to use long, extended, just-in-time supply chains and not really bother about finding out what value there is in the UK. This strikes me as perfect timing. The network portal really can begin to focus and concentrate manufacturing activity within the UK.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a core aspect for what we're trying to do, because there's so much manufacturing potential in UK, and there's so much relevant stuff that we are doing. And there's always disruption with new technologies coming in, such as, engines being stopped manufacturing and battery manufacturing starting to come in play. And on one side, we are saying that we are struggling to find suppliers. On the other side, there are industries which are not able to, losing out their current businesses. So it's quite important for us to understand and realize that actually, given sustainability as a key aspect, having net zero within your supply chain, there are companies with capabilities and adjacent capabilities that could be utilized to deliver what the requirements are. And we can build a more sustainable supply chain and more resilient supply chain quite quickly. And I think whatever, since the pandemic, a key things that all of us have learned, that there's so much disruption happening across with different world events, and supply chains is one of the key things that gets impacted due to that. And for any business and manufacturing sector to grow, they need to have a strong, resilient supply chain and be able to scale that to be able to offer what's required. So we see this as a strong, opportunity to be able to address that. And our approach, as we're starting to see the traction coming on the platform with not just, newer organization come on the platform, but organizations such as the Rail Forum, which has been running as a trade body for a long time, and a few others, they've been really good at what they do already, and they're coming onto our platform to create more value for the members. And we're starting to see that cross collaboration opportunity grow, and everything that we've talked about in the different government programs trying to engage manufacturing and opportunity innovation can be leveraged to a single place, rather than dissipated amount of information across different platforms, different websites, and not enough traction. And that's something that I'm quite keen to bring together on the platform and make sure that it really gets leveraged, because we understand the tech and we're working with people who understand their communities.
Okay, well, if you are a member of an association or if you run a trade association in the manufacturing sector and want to learn more about this, the URL is just there on the screen. Do get in touch with Valuechain. Find out how your association can take part and how your members can benefit from this quite remarkable initiative. Nishant Raj from Valuechain, Josh Dugdale from AMUK, thank you very much indeed for being with us. Really appreciate your enlightening us about the network portal. And as I say, if you want to learn more, follow that link. Thank you very much indeed for watching. This has been a special report from Manufacturing TV. I'm Nick Peters. Goodbye for now.